Probably quite a familiar story, especially with people of a certain generation. I got into football through my older brother. He was playing for teams, playing for his school. I used to follow him around, you know, going from pitch to pitch, kicking the ball around on the sideline, playing with him in the garden. And then when he started senior school, he found an advert for Watford, advertising to have new players come along to the youth teams. And he said, "Why don't you go for it? You're pretty good." And I thought, wow, if my brother's telling me I'm quite good, then I must be doing something right. And I went along to a training session, and by that weekend I was playing my first game for the club. I've had several different careers in my time, but none of them so much that I would put before football. So any jobs that I worked, whether that was in sports coaching, whether that was working as a teaching assistant in a school, and then once I came back to Watford, they sort of given me a dual career, if that makes sense. Being able to do bits as sort of an ambassadorial marketing type role, getting the club out there into the community and that kind of thing. So I've been really fortunate at Watford with the support I've had since I've been back here, nearly 6 years ago now. They've really supported me on and off the pitch, which has been massive for me, and a big reason as to why I was able to carry on playing, having had my children.
Helen's excellent for the group. One, on the pitch, what she's done and her goals and the experiences that she's gained over the years it speaks for itself. And two, with the other players. She's a role model as a professional. I think they all look up to her, they all look to her for advice, and sets a great example in training. She trains to her max every single session, and I know that that's not easy when you're a part-time player and got day jobs and things like that. So she's an excellent example of what you can get if you really work hard for all the younger players.
But the early days, obviously, as a new mum, when Emily was born, everything's up in the air, as any parent will tell you. You're sort of thrown in at the deep end with this little thing to look after, who's relying on you for everything. It's quite scary. And then add into that trying to get fit and play football again. I think the perception is that it's a physical thing that's the hardest, you know, which, don't get me wrong, it's not easy to have a baby and then come back to playing and training. But I think it's the psychological and the mental side of things that I found the most difficult to overcome. The guilt on the other side of, you know, relying on so many people to help you. Should I be doing this? Am I being selfish? Is everything organised? Are the logistics all sorted? All of that's going around your mind all the time. Luckily, I was able to, once I got to training and games, I am able to switch off and almost forget that I'm a parent. You know, going away with Wales as well, that required a lot of prior thinking and organisation. Going away for sort of 10 days at a time and making sure that everybody knows where each child's meant to be at what time.
If there was a player that did fall pregnant or wanted to go down that route, they'd have my full support, and I'd make sure that the players all knew that. For me, it's my biggest motivation, using my children as my motivation to be successful. And that's what I should hope the other players, Helen being one, really lean on to make sure that they get the most out of themselves.
Watford's been in my blood forever, as I said. I've been a Watford fan since I was tiny. So to know that the club you support is willing to support you back, there's no better feeling. Obviously, whenever I step on the pitch, whoever that may be for, I want to give my all. But there is something special about walking out in that shirt with that badge on, knowing that it's my club and that they've looked after me. And yeah, as I said, I want to return that favour and, you know, do my best for the team as much as I can, because it is a club that means an awful lot to me.